Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got another 10 features or additions that I think Starfield could really use. I really enjoyed getting to talk about these things in my last features video, but after I got done recording I was like, man, there's still just so much that I want to talk about. So that's what we're doing here today. Let's start with quality of life improvements. First, I want to talk about outpost building. The outpost building is fun, I really enjoy it. But it is kind of funky, if I'm being honest. It's hard to use. Certain things want to link to other things, and it makes it incredibly hard to move. Or certain things think that they're being blocked by other things when they're not. And I don't know. It's a good system, but it could definitely use some improvements. Next, I think we could really use some more animals, specifically earth animals and more mammals. So with the Earth animals, I totally understand that Earth was destroyed, but you cannot tell me that they didn't bring, one, dogs, cats, maybe birds, some lizards, just pet animals that humans really love. But then also, humans love meat. You cannot convince me they wouldn't have brought cows, pigs, and chickens at the bare minimum. This is just a tiny thing that I think would really help my immersion, if I'm being honest, because walking around major cities and not seeing normal Earth animals feels a little weird. And I'm not saying every planet needs Earth animals, but I think at least New Atlantis and Aquila City being the two, capitals of humanity, it would make sense if there were some Earth animals there. And then mammals, of course. Right now, the alien creatures you can find really are either lizards or bugs, which we love. They're so cool. I love the variety of everything. But I think it would help a lot if there were some more mammal-like creatures scattered throughout the planets. Next, just quicker leveling. Right now, I am 80 hours into the game, and I'm at level 39, I want to say. Which, I'm just playing the game normally. I'm not using any, XP farm or XP glitch. And it definitely feels like I should be a higher level, especially when considering that if you want to maximize everything, I believe you need to be level 320. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think that would be a really good improvement for the game. And lastly, for the quality of life section, I want to talk about encumbrance. Encumbrance is awful right now. I've maxed out my weight capability perk, and I'm wearing armor that also lets me carry more stuff, and I'm still dealing with encumbrance all the time. On top of that, the cargo hold and the storage for outposts are not really great either. There's just so much to collect and pick up in this game, especially when you consider all of the resources and stuff. Honestly, I would just double everything, double your weight carrying, double the amount of cargo that ships can hold, double the storage capacity for your storage units on your outposts. I understand that Bethesda wants a more realistic experience, and yeah, you just can't carry everything in a real world. You can't fit everything into a single storage container, but I think it really, really needs to be updated on how much you can carry. Next, let's talk about actual gameplay additions. This one I'm so excited to talk about. This is the one I was like, dang, why didn't I put this in my last video? I'm going to have to do a whole nother video just for this one, and that is mechs. We know they're in the game. You can find them in, I believe, Mars. There's a facility where you can find some destroyed ones, and then there's another planet, I believe it's Nera, I think it's called All for One or All in One Salvage, where you can find a bunch of mechs. So they have the models for them. We also saw them in the trailers. I really want to see mechs be playable. Now, we do know lore-wise that after the Colony War, that mechs were banned, so they would either have to change that, remove that lore bit, or they'd have to say, oh, we're re-allowing mechs, or whatever. I don't know. Either way, I just want them in the game, and it would be great to have a vehicle like that to walk around, to fight some of the bigger creatures with. But I think a really cool feature is if you could essentially be like an ODST from Halo, where you can get in your mech in space and your ship will launch you down to the planet. That would be so cool. Next, I think a great addition would be space outposts that you could put orbiting a planet or a moon or whatever, or maybe even an outpost just in the middle of space would be cool. But I think they could work similarly to maybe the Key from the Crimson Fleet. And then I think this would be a great place for you to like dock your ships. And I would love to be able to like actually physically see all my ships within a port and not just the one I'm currently using. And then to just be able to like walk up to the one I want to take. That would be fantastic. Next, I think more ship variety would be really good. And when I say ship variety, I mean ship size, essentially. So D or E size ships, and then maybe like single-person fighter ships would be really nice. And then maybe if they add space stations, like I was just talking about, maybe the D and E size ships could only be accessed from there, and that way they don't have to change the like actual planet ports, if that makes sense, because they are set on a certain size. But it'd be really cool to see like dreadnoughts or like Star Destroyer size ships within the game that you could make as like a mobile base. That would be amazing. And then the fighter ships, maybe they have grav drives, maybe they don't, maybe they work like TIE fighters in Star Wars where they don't have grav jumps and they have to stay close to their Star Destroyers. I don't know. I would just love a smaller, really fast, really powerful ship to fly around with. Next would be the ability to dock your smaller ships onto your larger ships and be able to travel with them while attached. So yes, I definitely think this could work with the D and E size ships like I was just talking about, but I think this could also potentially work with A size ships being able to be attached to C size ships. Man, that was hard to say, but just be able to dock like the Frontier onto your C-sized ship and take it with you. And then maybe while you're in space, let's say you're floating above a planet, you can decide, okay, I want to take my whole ship down, or I just want to take the smaller ship, like the Frontier, and go explore the planet that way. Next, more robot companions. We love Vasco here on this channel. Vasco is the best companion in the game. I think I've said that in almost every single Starfield video I've made. I love Vasco. And so I think it would be really cool if we were able to get a couple more robot companions. Like I know there's like an almost like dog-like robot, and then I was specifically thinking of the military bots would be funny. I think that would make a great companion, especially if we make them more violent than Vasco, which Vasco's already very violent. I really like the human companion choices, and I think it would be great if we got some more robot ones as well. And then lastly, I just talked about this in my main story review, but updating the temples to where there's more to do in them than just fly around and do the lights, I think would be really great. In my video, I mentioned dungeons and boss fights. I'm sure they were trying to differentiate themselves a little bit from Skyrim, which is great. We appreciate that. But honestly, I think this is one area where I'd prefer it to be more like Skyrim, where they had the words on the wall that you found at the end of a dungeon. And I'm totally okay with them keeping the flying lights and stuff, but let us go on like an adventure through this really cool ancient temple, and there's a giant monster at the end, and there's puzzles to solve along the way. I don't know. I think that would make for a more satisfying challenge and a more satisfying reward when you were done. Think like getting through all of it and then you get this super cool space power, I think would add a lot to the game. Also, let me know in the comments below what you thought of my list here today, and let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see them add to the game. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Mother Goose out.